The metal that bends is not a broomstick, and the broomstick can never be metal. Welcome to chapter 2 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. Chapter 4 being Surah An-Nisa, Surah devoted to women. Let's go. Yusikum Allahu fi awladikum. Yusikum Allahu fi awladikum. God thus directs you as regards to your children's apostrophe S, children's apostrophe S, to your children's inheritance in brackets. And so with that, the brackets is simply is God. Okay, that's also is in brackets. God thus is in brackets, directs you as regards to your children's inheritance, also in brackets. Without the two brackets, it reads, God directs you as regards to your children's apostrophe S. للذكر مثل حزن الأنثيين مثل حزن الأنثيين. To the male, a portion equal to that of two females. In other words, the male takes half, and the two females also take half. فإن كن نساء فوق اثنين فلهن ثلثا ما تركت. Two-thirds of the inheritance. ثلثا ما تركت. If only daughters, two or more, untheni أو what is it? اثنين no. وإن كان واحدة. No, let me take it again. مثل حزن انتين فإن كنا نساء فوق اثنين فلهن ثلثا ما ترك وإن كان واحدة فلها نصفا. To the male, a portion equal to the two females. We've done that. If only daughters, two or three, I think I've gone too far. Inheritance to the male, a portion equal to that of two females. مثل حزن أنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنين فلهن ثلثا ما تركت. If only daughters, فإن كن نساء, if only daughters, two or more, إن كن نساء فوق اثنين, yeah, two or more, فوق اثنين, فلهن ثلثا ما تركت. Two or more, their share is 2/3 of the inheritance. ما تركت. Yes. وإن كان واحدة فلها نصفا وإن كان واحدة فلها nisfun. فلها النصف. No, فلها النصف. فإن كان واحدة فلها النصف. If only one, that's one daughter, her share is a half. النصف. Her share is a half. ولأبوا 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 sorry ولأبويه لكل واحدة منهما لكل واحدة منهما ولأبوين لكل واحدة منهما. For parents, a sixth share of the inheritance to each. ولأبوين فلكل واحدة منهما سدوس. Sudusu. And Sudusu is a sixth part. Sudusu is a fifth part. ولأبوين لكل واحد ولكل واحد منهما سدوس. If only one, her share is absorbed. For parents, a sixth share of the inheritance to each of them, mother and husband, to each of them, sudusu mimma tarakat, of the inheritance. In kana lahu waladan, in kana lahu waladun, فإن فإن لم يكن فإن لم يكن له waladan. That's if he has a child. But if he doesn't have a child, وإن لم يكن ولدا وورثه أبواه فلأمه ثلث فلأمه الثلث فلأمه الثلث. If only one, her share, for parents, a sixth share of the inheritance to each. If the deceased left children, if no children, إن لم يكن له ولدا, if he had no children and the parents are the only heirs, only is in brackets, the mother has a third, tultun. فلأمه ثلث. The mother takes a third, 2/3. No. فلأمه الثلث. The mother has a third. الثلث. فإن كان له إخوة فإن كان له إخوة فلأمه سدوس وإن كان له إخوة فلأمه سدوس. If the deceased left brothers or sisters, the mother has a sif, sudusu. The mother has a sif, sudusu. Bagda wasiyatin, bagda wasiyatin yusi biha au daini. Bagda wasiyatin yusi biha au daini. The mother takes a sif. That is after the payment of legacies and debts. After the payment of legacies and debts. Min ba'da wasiyatin yusi biha, after the payment of legacies. Legacies and debts. So after the payment is UCBH, and legacies is wasiyatan. Legacy is wasiyatan. UCBH after the payment. UCBH. Our Dane. Yes, UCBH. Our Dane after the payments of legacies and debts. Dane. Debts and Dane. This reminds me of chapter 2. So that will Dane. And I think that's chapter 2A2, where the payment of debt is mentioned. That is where things are put into writing. I think it's 282, if not, pardon me, of chapter 2. So you can see that these elaborate means of sharing is doing things is like chapter 2, sign 282, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. UCBH wa Audin or that. Okay. Aba'akum wa abna'ukum. Aba'ukum wa abna'ukum la tadrus. La tadrusu. Sorry. La tadruna. Ayuhum akrabu lakum naf'an. Aba'ukum wa abna'ukum la tadruna ayuhum akrabu lakum naf'an. Akrabu naf'an. The mother has a sixth. Into brackets, I omitted the brackets. The mother has a sixth. Into brackets. The distribution in all cases is, the distribution in all cases is after payment of legacies and debts. Membagda wasiyatun wasibiha. Membagda wasiyatun wasibiha. So that's after the distribution in all cases is after. All cases mentioned here after the payment of legacies and debts. You know not whether your parents or your children are nearest to you in benefit. You know not whether your parents or your children are nearest to you in benefit. Abahum wa aba'ahum wa abna'ahum. La tadruna ayuhum. That's aba'uhum wa abna'akum. La tadruna ayuhum akrabu lakum naf'an. Akrabu lakum naf'an. Nearest to you in benefit, naf'an. Naf'an, nearest to you in benefit. After that, I'll take it straight in English because I've been fumbling a lot with this Arabic. Naf'an. Faridatin minallahi, ordained by God. Faridatin minallahi. These are settled portions ordained by God. These are settled portions ordained by God. That's what I've read are settled portions ordained by God. Faridat min Allah. Inna Allah kana alimun hakiman. Sorry, Inna Allah kana haliman hakiman. Inna Allah kana haliman hakiman. God is all knowing, all wise. Let me take the whole thing in English. God thus directs you as regards your children's inheritance, colon, to the male a portion equal to that of two females. Yes, in today's world, people will ask why. Our judges, honorable judges, will ask why. Are we not equal? Okay, but this is a portion ordained by God. It has been explained, not by the world's judges. Uh, to that of two females. If only daughters, two or more, their share is two-thirds of the inheritance. If only one, her share is a half. Paragraph. For parents, a sixth share of the inheritance to each. That's mother and father. If the deceased left children, that's if the left children, they take uh, a sixth each. If the deceased left children, the parents take a sixth each. If no children, and lam yakun lahu waladan, if no children, the parents are the only heirs. The mother has a third. The mother has a third and not half like the man. Remember, we say man takes two, two. If woman takes one, man takes two. The mother has a third, so the other two thirds go to the husband. If the deceased left brothers or sisters, the mother has a sixth. Into brackets, the distribution in all cases is after the payment of legacies and death. You know not whether your parents or your children are nearest to you in benefits. These are settlements. These are settlements. Oh, sorry. These are settled portions ordained by God, and God is all knowing, all wise. Let's go to. Oh, I haven't read the notes, and the notes are 516, 517, 516, and 517. Let's go to 517. Uh, that's your children's properties. 516. Your children's property. Mm. Uh, the principles of inheritance. The principles of inheritance law are laid down in broad outline in the Quran. The precise details have been worked out on the basis of the Prophet's practice and that of the companions, and by interpretation and analogy, full stop, and by interpretation and analogy, full stop. Muslim jurists have collected a vast amount of learning on the subject, and this body of law is enough by itself to form the subject of lifelong study. Mhm. Okay, so it will be reviewed, studied as time goes on, by Muslim jurists. Muslim jurists, full stop. Here we shall deal only with the broad principles to be gathered from the text as interpreted by the jurists, Muslim jurists. Okay, then we go to the next paragraph. One, the power, the next paragraphs, mm, divided into four parts. One, the power of testamentary disposition extends over only one third of the property, extends only over one third of the property. The remaining two thirds are distributed among heirs as laid down. Two, all distribution takes place after the legacies and deaths, including funeral expenses, have first been paid. So you don't distribute before you organize funerals, or you distribute before asking for if the dead person owed one, Mr. A or Mr. B. You first of all settle these debts. and legacies before the distribution at all. Mm. If after the distribution, how do you contribute to pay these debts and legacies? Mm. Okay, that's two. Have first been settled. Three, legacies cannot be left to any of the heirs. Okay, that's it. Cannot be left to any of the heirs uh, included in the scheme of distribution, included in the scheme of distribution, semicolon, or it will amount or it will amount to upsetting the shares and undue preference of one heir to another. I think that's what I just explained. You pay the legacies and the debt before you share. Four, generally, comma, but not always, the male takes a share double that of female in his own category. Let's go to 517. And 517 is against oh, where is it? 517. 517 is against daughters more, two or more. In fact, the notes are three. We will still go to 518. So 517 is against daughters two or more. Mm. Uh, Itnini au akthar. Itnini wa fawqa zalika. 517. At first sight, the Arabic words seem to mean, at first sight, the Arabic words seem to mean, colon, then a double inverted commas. If more than two daughters, double inverted commas close. If more than two daughters, full stop. But the alternative in the next clause is if only one daughter. If only one daughter. That's full stop. Logically, therefore, the first clause must mean if daughters two or more. Also in inverted commas, if daughters two or more in inverted commas. Full stop. This is the general interpretation and is confirmed by the supplementary provisions in chapter 4, 1, 7, 6. We haven't gotten there yet. Chapter 4, verse 176 or Psalm 176 at the end of the surah, which would be read along with this. Do we go there? Verse 176. Let's go there. Verse 176. Chapter 4, verse 176. We can do only the English part. They ask thee for a legal decision. Say, God directs thus in brackets, God directs thus about those who leave no descendants or ascendants as heirs. If it is a man that dies, leaving a sister but no children, she shall have half of the inheritance. If such a disease was is in brackets. So if such a disease was a woman who left no child, her brother takes her inheritance. If there are two sisters, they shall have 2/3. I suppose 1/3, 1/3. They shall have 2/3 of the inheritance, mataraka, between them, into brackets, between them. If there are brothers and sisters, they share the male having twice the share of the female. Thus doeth God make clear to you into brackets his law, into brackets his law, lest ye err. So we must not err about this. Lest ye err. And God hath knowledge of all things. So that's what we are referred to. Now we'll go to the third note. That's 518 to sign 11. 518. And what is it against? It's against settled portions ordained by God. So these laws are ordained by God. 518. This verse deals with the portions allotted to A, children, and B, parents. The next verse deals with the portions allotted to C, husband or wife of the deceased, and D, no, did I do A? A, children, and B, yeah, and D, and B, parents. The next verse deals with the portions allotted to C, husband or wife of the deceased, and D, uh, collaterals, and D, collaterals. Full stop. The children's shares are fixed, but their amount will depend upon what goes to the parents. Full stop. If both parents are living and there are no children, both father and mother take a sixth each. Colon. If only one parent is living, he or he or she takes his or her sixth, his or her sixth, and the rest goes to the children. Full stop. If the parents are living and there is no child or other heir, the mother gets a third into brackets and the father the remaining two-thirds, brackets close, semicolon. If there are children, but there are brothers, if there are children, but there are brothers or sisters, into brackets, thus is interpreted strictly to the plural, and that's in brackets close. The mother has a sixth, and the father apparently the residue, as the father excludes collaterals. This is far from being an exhaustive statement, but it establishes the proportion that children and parents have always some share if they survive, but their shares are affected by the existence and number of the heirs in these categories. Complex, isn't it? But the jurists know how to settle it. And that was note 518 to sign 11 of section 1, or of section 2, rather, of section 2 of chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. So we've done only one sign. It's okay. That's what time will allow us to cover. My device is again heating up. We shall halt here, and when we come back in the next episode, we shall go to sign 12. So viewers, we can go through this and make our comments to ourselves. Thank you very much. Ilalaka, Ibaba, Uruba. May God be with you all.